Now, did U.S. use a powerful mystery weapon during the raid to capture Nicolas Maduro? American forces wiped out hundreds of fighters without losing a single soldier. Now, a new report may shed some light on the methods used by them. According to the report, the U.S. used a powerful mystery weapon that rendered Venezuelan soldiers ineffective during the raid. The report is based on an alleged account of the night's event by a Venezuelan guard. Now, the account claims that the weapon brought Venezuelan soldiers to their knees. They were bleeding through the nose and vomiting blood. The alleged witness account was also shared on social media by the White House press secretary. In the interview, the guard allegedly described how U.S. forces use technology unlike anything he has ever seen. He said that all their radar systems shut down without any explanation. It was followed by a lot of drones flying over their positions. He claimed that 8 helicopters arrived moments later, deploying what he estimated were just 20 U.S. troops into the area. But he said that these few men came armed with something far more powerful than guns. The guard claims that the U.S. troops shot with precision and speed. He said, and I'm quoting, "It felt like each soldier was firing 300 rounds per minute." At one point, U.S. troops launched another weapon, according to the guard's account. It was like a very intense sound wave, and he felt like his head was exploding from the inside. He claimed that the Venezuelan side started bleeding from the nose, while some were vomiting blood. They were unable to move. An estimated 100 Venezuelan security forces were killed in the January 3 attack. The White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, has shared the account on social media. However, the White House has not confirmed whether administration was verifying the veracity of the eyewitness account.
President Trump has vehemently doubled down on the United States' bid to take control of Greenland, claiming that the world's largest island was vital for the U.S.'s new Golden Dome defense system, and that anything less was unacceptable. So what role would Greenland really play in the Golden Dome, and how will the state-of-the-art defense system actually operate? Here's everything you need to know. Trump expanded on his previous comments about the defensive implications of the autonomous Danish territory on Wednesday, January 14th, in an early morning Truth Social post. The United States needs Greenland for the purpose of national security. It is vital for the Golden Dome that we are building. NATO should be leading the way for us to get it. If we don't, Russia or China will, and that is not going to happen. He fumed before finishing. NATO becomes far more formidable and effective with Greenland in the hands of the United States. Anything less than that is unacceptable. Trump announced the Golden Dome in May 2025, a project inspired by Israel's Iron Dome, which the U.S. ally has used to great effect for nearly 15 years, and was seen on full display during its 12-day war with Iran last year. Trump estimated the United States' new iteration would cost a whopping $175 billion to become fully operational over the course of 3 years.
Once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles even if they are launched from other sides of the world and even if they are launched from space, but including hypersonic missiles, ballistic missiles, and advanced cruise missiles. All of them will be knocked out of the air.
According to aerospace engineer Ian Boyd, via The Conversation, Trump's vision for the Golden Dome is timely and much needed, as the U.S. faces several new threats that call for an updated defensive approach. Enemies of the United States, such as China and Russia, have been developing maneuverable hypersonic missiles over the past few years that challenge the United States' current missile defense systems. According to Boyd, it's essential for the system to detect new missile threats as early as possible after launch. This requires a global array of geographically distributed sensors, including ground, sea, air, and space, that cover all phases of all missile trajectories as they travel hundreds or thousands of miles. He says that ideally the Golden Dome would rely on interceptors placed in locations that protect vital U.S. assets from technologically advanced missiles. Those strategically placed interceptors would then be able to engage threats during the course of the trajectory between missile launch and the terminal dive. Greenland, therefore, would be a prime location for such interceptors to be placed. The sparsely populated island leaves plenty of space for sensors and interceptors to be stationed. And its spot in the middle of the North Atlantic and Arctic Oceans offers a strategic vantage point for early missile detection. Denmark, a NATO country, has repeatedly said Washington is welcome to supplement its already present force on the island at any time to fend off potential threats from Moscow or Beijing, but has continued to vehemently assert that Greenland is not for sale.
Crucial meeting today as Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio get together with Denmark and Greenland officials at the White House to discuss the future of Greenland. Greenland's premier has refused to entertain offers turning over its sovereignty, saying, quote, "Now we are faced with a geopolitical crisis, and if we have to choose between the United States and Denmark here and now, then we choose Denmark. We choose NATO. We choose the Kingdom of Denmark. We choose the European Union." Here was President Trump's response.
The premier of Greenland said today, "We prefer to stay with Denmark."
That's their problem. That's their problem. I disagree with him. I don't know who he is, don't know anything about him, but that's going to be a big problem for him.
To politics now, President Trump has been saying for days that he plans to take Greenland away from Denmark one way or another. And today he threatened tariffs on any country that does not support American control. Here's Weijia Zhang.
German troops arrived today in Greenland, a territory of Denmark, which asked several European countries to join a military exercise as President Trump continues to threaten taking the island by force.
We have got the strongest military in the world.
Today, he issued a new warning to nations who do not support his plan.
I may put a tariff on countries if they don't go along with Greenland, because we need Greenland for national security, so I may do that.
Greenland sits off the coast of Canada, a key location to stage weapons that could take out Russian missiles fired at the U.S. It is also rich in rare earth minerals. Trump warns if the U.S. does not control it, another country will. But not everyone agrees.
Are there real pressing threats to the security of Greenland from China and Russia? No, not today.
A delegation of bipartisan lawmakers from Washington traveled to Denmark with a message. There is little support for a military takeover or a purchase of the island.
We have tools at our disposal under our constitutional authority that speaks specifically to the power of the purse.
And tonight, CBS News has learned CIA Director John Ratcliffe quietly traveled to Venezuela Thursday to meet with acting President Delcy Rodriguez and to ensure the regime is on the same page as the U.S. Ratcliffe is the highest-ranking administration official to visit Caracas since Nicolas Maduro was captured. Tony.
First of all praise to the Father Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakadash. Shabbat Shalom to all the brothers and sisters in recognition to observing this day for worshiping the Most High. Sundown this evening, which we are well into, to sundown tomorrow evening. Now people, let's get some rest, worship, and praises in to the Most High, Yahweh, in Yahweh Shai name in these pressing times, because he's more than worthy of such, and also it is commandment throughout all of our dwellings. As you can see, people, we are well into the prophecies of the Father that he's had written in his book as a message to his people in these end times. We can see the modern day King Nebuchadnezzar, Trump himself, flexing a lot of military muscle. Okay, and that's what it is. Basically to gather on things to himself. Okay, things that doesn't belong to him. Greed. Okay, now I can't think of the scripture right now, but as it is said with Esau, he moves about basically never satisfied at home. I'm paraphrasing. To gather people onto himself. Okay, and that goes like people and their resources, as you see Trump is doing right now. Now I can guarantee you, he says it's because Greenland is all about protection against this golden dome, basically what Greenland has, and can detect and destroy missiles coming from Russia or China. Okay, I beg to differ. It's all about the resources, just like it was when he went into Venezuela and actually took Nicolas Maduro by force using mysterious supersonic like type weaponry. Okay, yeah. Esau was gifted the sword. Okay, he was gifted the sword, and that's basically what it all boils down to. This is the reason why he has all his military might, which we're going to start in Genesis. But before we, so you can see what I'm saying, but before we do, we're going to basically briefly go into this statue right here, okay? Because we are in these last toes of this statue of the dream of Daniel 2, you know, where Daniel had a dream of this mighty statue right here. Now, let's briefly go into it by this picture. And then when we come up on Daniel 2, we're going to read more about it. Right here, got Nebuchadnezzar's dream, well, Daniel 2, that is. Actually, Daniel had this dream, okay? Now, we were in the head of gold right here. This was way back in, what's that, 871 to 538 BC. With the Assyro-Babylonish monarchy, the lion, okay? And then we got the breast and the arms of silver, which is Medo-Persia Empire, the bear, okay? Right here. Now we have the belly and the thighs of brass, okay? Right down in here, which was Greco-Roman Macedonian kingdom, the leopard, okay? Now, we're moving far and down to near the end, which is the legs of iron, okay? The great Roman Empire, which we are actually living in now, which is the dragon. Headed into the feet and the toes. Part iron mingled with part clay. Kingdoms of the 10 toes, okay? Now this is iron mingled with clay, all right? Which is Italy, France, England, Belgium, Holland, Portugal, Persia, Australia, Spain, and Greece. All right, 496 to 1829 AD, which we are still in, people. Okay, we are still in this, but this is going to end bad for this. If you go back to this picture right here, boom, you see this rock, this meteor that's made without hand that's going to come and crush these 10 toes. It's going to blow this statue from underneath itself. It's going to topple over, and that's going to be the end of this kingdom right here. And this where what's going to happen is the Hamashiach. The Hamashiach is going to come and set up his own kingdom and rule, okay? And this is where you're going to have Trump actually hollering for help. So without further ado, let's get into these scriptures. Now, no need to wonder, why is it that Esau has all this military might? Okay, it says Genesis chapter 27, verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Question. Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept and cried. This is what his father blessed him with, okay? We're going to start here. I think we better start right down here, verse 39, after we just read this right here, okay, after wept. Verse 39, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of the heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off his neck. Okay? Well, that neck, that yoke is off of Jacob's neck. All right, right now. If you look up yoke, you're going to see a yoke on somebody's neck. A yoke of iron, you're going to find somebody black with one on it. This is what they put on our ancestors' neck. Way back in those days, okay? Verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will slay my brother Jacob. Okay? So there it is. It's right here in black and white. This is the reason why. It goes back to Cain first slaying Abel, and then Cain going on to create abominable creatures, and Esau going to mingle his blood with them, and now you got Edomites. That's basically what it boils down to. Now here in Ezekiel, chapter 35, verse 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Why? Because thou hast a perpetual hate, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. See, he didn't know when to stop. Verse 6, Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Saith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So basically what the Most High is saying to Esau is that you're going to reap what you sow. Verse 7, Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it that passeth out, and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with its slain men, in thy hills, and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. Okay? So this is what's going to happen to Esau before it's all over. The Most High is going to basically rectify all the wrong that has been done by the hand and the sword that Esau willed onto the Most High's people. But Esau is very proud, okay? And Esau says right here in Obadiah, this is what it's talking about. Obadiah chapter 1, verse 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. That's us people. Back to Esau again here. Verse 3. Thou pride of thine heart have deceived thee, that thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rock, whose habitation is high, that said in his heart, Who shall bring me down to the ground? Question. Now, if you hear Trump, we have the largest military and whatever. You know, he just very proud and arrogant, always bragging about the sword, what they got. Verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. What country exalt themselves as the eagle? That will be America, people. All right? That will be America. And that's what this all boils down to. But the Most High say he's going to bring it all down. And this is what we are looking at right here. This is what we're looking at. Let's continue. Over here in Jeremiah, chapter 49, verse 16. And it reads, See again, with Esau, thy terribleness have deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest, in the clefts of the rock. and holdest the highest of the hill. Though thou shouldst make thy nest, or shouldst make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord. That's what he just said again. Y'all coming down. It don't make no difference what you're trying to heap up onto yourself, taking other people's resources and what have you. Remember, Jacob, seed was scattered to the four corners of the earth. We are everywhere. And we got these Gentiles running loose, Edomites or whatever, Kenites, whatever you want to call them, making rules, taking people's resources. That's what this all boils down to, okay? Now, Most High, he said he's going to bring you down, though. Okay, that's just what it is. Ain't no getting around that. And then verse 17, also Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof, as in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighborhood cities thereof, saith the Lord. No man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan against the habitations of the strong, but I will suddenly make him run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over thee? Over her. Question. For who is like me? Question. And who will appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me? Question. We already know who that shepherd is, and that's the Hamashiach himself. Over in Joel chapter 3 verse 9. Here's where there's finna be a war. There's going to be a war. This is the reason why Trump claims that he wants Greenland. This golden shield and all that kind of stuff, and what his ability to do with intercepting missiles. Here's the Most High putting his words into perspective. Verse 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare for war. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round and about thither. Cause thy mighty ones, cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be awakened, or be wakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I set to judge all the heathen round and about. Okay? Now, let's read Daniel right here. Well, remember we was talking about that statue right here. This thing right here. See? That's what this is referring to. Now, let's talk about it. Here in Daniel chapter 2, verse 31. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, and his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet, that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and become like the chaff of the summer threshing floor. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. Okay? This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings. The God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. This is when the Hamashiach comes back and claims what is his and take over when he destroyed this kingdom right here. We are in that last part right there, where the iron is mingled with the clay at the feet and the toes, okay? And whatsoever the children of men dwell, and wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowl of the heavens, have he given unto thine hand, and have made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. And after thee shall arise another kingdom, inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, forasmuch as iron breaketh in pieces and subdue all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise. This is when the Most High comes, people. That's what this all boils down to. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, forasmuch as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Meaning this thing ain't gonna stand. And in the days of these kings shall Yahweh of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God that hath made known to the king that shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. Then King Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and worshipped Daniel, and commanded that they should offer an oblation and sweet odors unto him. Right? That's what that was all about. So this is almost over with, people, so it don't make no difference. This is what it all boils down to. This is where we at now. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 9. For Esau is the beginning of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it. Excuse me. Let's read this again. Kind of tired. Y'all excuse me. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So this is what we're looking at, people. Boom. This is what it all boils down to. It's almost over with. So prepare yourselves, repent, people, because the end is nigh. In Yahweh's name. I hope I said something to stimulate your spiritual growth, and I hope you guys found the lesson edifying. People, please remember to live your life as though we're being watched, simply because we are. All praise to the Father, Yahweh, in Yahweh's name. This is James, and I'm out.